Hello, my name is Adub.
Citlali. And I'm Chelsie, and we are going to make a walking meditation path. We're going to create it and then tell you some purposes on what it could be used for.
All right, let's get started.
All right.
The definition of meditation is the practice of focused concentration where you bring yourself back to the current moment over and over again.
Meditation can be intimidating or scary for those who don't like to or can't sit still in complete silence. These paths invite you to be active in your own meditation practice. Other examples of active meditation include yoga, walking your dog, fishing. For me personally, I enjoy my morning bikes.
I like to swim, specifically alone, very meditative.
I personally like to go kayaking. That's very meditative for me. Benefits of meditation include increased imagination and creativity, focus on the present, increased patience, gaining a new perspective on stressful situations, building skills to manage your stress, increase self-awareness, reduced anxiety and depression, enhances quality of sleep, increase the ability of memory retention.
Not all walking meditation paths are in a spiral design like the one that we made here. There are a ton of other arrangements. Some are more maze-like and some are more straightforward. You can find some of many different kinds of designs like the ones that we show here.
I think it's actually really cool. I've never done that before. I love that it was a circle. It almost feels like you're unraveling like your mind. No, yeah, it feels like you're like unraveling your mind. I also feel like I'm not usually, I don't usually allot a specific time like that to just be in silence and walk around like that in nature. So that's a really different kind of calming experience. I loved your advice of not looking down. That was cool because looking at the trees that way felt really calming as well. And then you just hear the birds and the rocks and leaves under you. I think it's a really simple thing that I would love to do more often. That was really cool for a first meditation path. Is that what it's called?
Yes.
Yeah, I love that. I just really liked it because I felt like I noticed a lot more than I would normally notice in like an everyday type of walk, because I feel like whenever I'm going somewhere I'm always on a mission. I have somewhere to be, a point A and a point B. So where like doing that, like I notice like the curves in the trees and the trees that are like angled, and I notice like how much movement occurs even in silence, you know. I liked that a lot. I felt like I was able to appreciate the nature around me a little bit more, you know, because we're here all summer and I feel like sometimes I forget to appreciate it.
I do like noticing, like, as an artist, like, it's funny. I like noticing, like, the composition of, like, certain, like, landscapes. And I was, like, thinking the entire time, like, ooh, I would like to paint that tree, or I like how this branch is falling down at this certain angle, or how these, like, branches are knotted in a certain way. I like the beauty aspect of looking at nature, and, like, very small, like, angles and triangles that I was seeing between, like, all the trees and how they were tilted and stuff. I love it. Yay.
It's very calming. I enjoy that. I often feel like I always have to be doing something, going somewhere, thinking about something. And this just gives me the opportunity to shut that off, put the world to sleep almost, or put my mind to sleep almost, and just be there and hear things and see and smell and just be with nature instead of always doing something with nature, going somewhere and doing something. It's a chance to calm down and relax, and I really enjoy it.
My initial reaction was I really wanted to take the time and focus on my senses and get out of my head. And what I mean by that is get out of my thinking of what am I doing wrong, what am I doing right, what do I need to do next, what didn't I do the day before, all those types of mental thoughts that are constantly in my head. I wanted to take this time to really just like be in my senses. So I focused on what came up first for me. So what was first was sound. And so I was hearing birds and the wind and the crunching of my feet on the ground. And then it was smell and sight and taste and like literally everything. And that was very helpful to just really just get me out of there and calm down. So yeah, I love walking meditation paths.
What I liked about closing my eyes and being guided is the first time I focused a lot on what I was seeing and what I was hearing, but a lot of what I was seeing. When I was able to close my eyes, I focused a lot more on what I was hearing and what I was feeling. So I heard all the birds, I heard the crunching of the leaves, I felt how the ground felt under my feet and the wind and sun on my skin, and it was just a whole different experience, but just as relaxing.
I had an interesting experience. So the first one that guided, where I led them, I felt a sense of responsibility. Like I had to move. I was feeling Citlali's hands, and like if she pulled or pushed, whether it was intentional or not, it assisted me in keeping the pace. And then when I was closing my eyes, I actually felt a sense at first I felt a sense of lack of control, which is very interesting, and slight dizziness and slight anxiety. So it wasn't entirely as pleasant as I was hoping it would be, but that's okay, because sometimes it doesn't always be pleasant, but it doesn't mean that it was a failure. It means that I learned something about myself.
I enjoyed all of it, and I did, like Adab said, like focus on what I was like hearing, but for me specifically, like what I was feeling, or the feeling of the ground beneath my feet was prominent, but also you guys, like Adab holding on to me and me holding on to Chelsie. I could feel your bodies like moving with me, and that was super cool because I could almost imagine the way that your bodies were walking in front and behind me. And I find the human body really pleasant and relaxing, and like hugs and physical touch like super pleasant and calming. And so that was really nice. It was nicer obviously than walking it with your eyes closed alone, and it was just that kind of reassurance that I liked.